Let's look at making half tubular knitting on a Singer Studio or Silver Reed Machine Plus ribber. Normally you don't make a teeny little swatch like the one I have made. The usual purpose of it is to make an extra wide piece of knitting like a blanket. Knitting half a tube allows you to knit on every needle on both the main bed and the ribber to get a really wide piece of fabric. In the manuals for these machines, there are diagrams showing you how to set up tubular knitting, but not half tubular. It's page 33 for the SRP 50, page 25 for the SRP 155. There's useful info there, but what we really need to know is that on the ribber, when the levers are set in the one position, the ribber knits going in the direction that the one is showing up on the carriage. When the lever is slid to the 0 position, the ribber will slip as long as the lever on the bottom is slid to that symbol. So the way I have it set now, the ribber will slip going left. In other words, it will ignore all the needles, but it will knit going right. The main bed is a little bit different. Of course, we know that in the stockinette setting, the carriage will cause the needles to knit both directions. To get either tubular or half tubular, we want to change to the slip setting and then set the side levers to give them instructions about which direction to knit and which direction to slip. So doing this is going to cause the ribber to slip going both directions, and setting the side levers so that both are back at the triangle setting will cause the main bed to knit both directions. Now if we change beds, so we cause the back bed to slip both directions, the main bed, by bringing the levers forward to the dot position, and we set both levers on the ribber to 1, it will knit both directions, going right, going left. And we will begin to create a half of a tube. We'll need to switch those settings every 2 rows. Now the main bed is going to knit again. Knit right, knit left, swap settings, and cause the ribber bed to knit. Pausing at the right to change settings will cause the opening to appear at the left. Pausing on the left to change settings will cause the opening to appear on the right. Each bed only has about 2¼ inches worth of fabric being created. But if I were to open the fabric up, I would have about 4½ inches. So you can see if you can knit 20 inches of fabric on one bed, you can get 40 inches of fabric on 2 beds, which is approaching a decent size afghan. And actually, if you choose your yarn correctly, you can usually get maybe 25 inches per bed, so you can get 50 inches wide. Think of the setting changes as occurring at the fold of the fabric. That will keep you mentally organized. Carriage is now at left. We'll knit right towards the opening, left towards the fold on the main bed. Then we will change settings and knit right, then left on the ribber. Every time we change settings, we're rounding the bend of the fold of the fabric. I've been demonstrating the setting changes very slowly, as though they were laborious, but once the knitting is going smoothly, they do not have to be. When my hands disappear off camera, I'm changing the ribber settings. So knit, knit, change settings, change settings. Knit, knit, change settings, change settings. Just be very methodical. Try to learn to do the same thing in the same order every time so that you don't lose track, and it is a realistic way to create a blanket. And here's our swatch. Please forgive the flaws in my cast on. It's just a demo piece, so I didn't fuss over it. But here we have the toothbrush holding the slot on the left open and the wrench holding the slot on the right. And there you go, half tubular knitting. One more thing you must keep in mind is that to create a good piece of fabric, we need what's being knitted on the main bed and what's being knitted on the ribber to match. That may or may not be the same stitch size on the dial. The manual says it won't be. My own experience is it varies a lot from individual machine to the next individual machine. I will show you how to figure that out in another video.